Your alarm goes off at 6:45 in the morning. You feel like you got hit by a truck. Last night you did the math. 8 hours, you told yourself. A perfect number. So why does your body feel like it never slept at all? The answer has nothing to do with how long you slept. It has to do with when you stopped. Inside your skull, a clock has been quietly running your whole life. Not the 24-hour one you already know about. A faster one. It cycles roughly every 90 minutes, all night long. And if your alarm catches you at the wrong point in that cycle, you can sleep 9 hours and still feel wrecked. In 1953, a researcher named Nathaniel Kleitman and his student Eugene Oserinsky noticed something strange in sleeping subjects. Every so often, closed eyes would dart back and forth rapidly. Brain activity would spike, almost like the person was awake. They weren't. They were dreaming. They had just discovered REM sleep, and it repeated in a loop roughly every 90 minutes all night. Your night isn't one long block of darkness, it's a staircase. You descend into deep, slow-wave sleep, muscles still, breathing slow. Then, your brain reverses course and climbs back up towards something lighter. At the top, you hit REM. Then, it resets. Down, up, 4 to 6 times a night. Here's the part that explains your terrible mornings. Not every stage is safe to wake up in. Catch your alarm during deep sleep, and your brain has to yank itself out of its slowest state. There's a name for the fog that follows: sleep inertia. Some studies show people performing worse right after waking from deep sleep than after being kept awake all night. Wake up near the top of a cycle instead, close to REM, and the transition is gentle. Same hours slept. Completely different morning. Why does modern life get this wrong almost every day? Because your alarm clock doesn't know your staircase. It only knows the time on the wall. In the 1960s and 70s, a French scientist named Michel Siffre lived alone in caves for months, cut off from sunlight and clocks entirely. His sleep-wake rhythm didn't collapse. It settled into its own steady pattern, completely on its own. Left alone, your body doesn't need a clock on the wall. It already has one. So what can you actually do with this? If you know roughly when you fall asleep, you can estimate where those 90-minute cycles land. Waking near the end of a full cycle, instead of the middle of one, tends to mean a clearer morning. Sometimes 5.5 hours feels better than 7, simply because it lines up more cleanly with whole cycles. It's not about more sleep. It's about timing the exit. The fatigue you've been blaming on stress or coffee might just be a timing problem. A staircase interrupted at the wrong step. Tomorrow, when that alarm goes off and you feel like you got hit by a truck, you'll know it was never really about the 8 hours. It was about the 90 minutes you got pulled out of and whether your brain was ready to leave.